Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be very chatty. It's a check-in for the mid-year point. I meant to do this at the end of June, early July. Now it's the end of July, so you're welcome. It's okay. We're still going to do this, like, keeping me on track. So I made a Bookish Can Go From Hell. This was provided by Literary Diversions, but I made my own rules. So I'll link her channel down below or up above, but I'm sure that you are. My goal this year was to read 250 books. As of June 19th, it's the 19th, I think. Yep, June 19th. I have read 163 books. I will actually finish 164 today, but that's okay. And then I have a bingo board of goals that we are gonna chat about. So let's do this. Read 12 nonfiction books. I have only read 5. The first one was Movie Star by Jessica Simpson. Don't read it. I don't read any nonfiction ever, but if I did, then this book would not get a good rating. It's basically 40 pages of Jessica Simpson writing, "I've got a secret and I'm not telling you. I once dated a movie star. He was so famous, but I'm still not telling you his name." Like, it really did not need to exist. So these are the ones that I own physically. Typically what I do with my nonfiction books is I unhaul them right away. I will be keeping 2 of these for sure for a long time. But the second one I read this year was The Answer Is by Alex Trebek. Alex Trebek was the host of Jeopardy for a long time. And he wrote this when he got sick. And he has since passed away. But he basically talks about growing up very poor and how even today he doesn't, or even when he wrote this, he didn't see himself as a famous person, and that he was a very humble man. And this was really, really good for me to read because it gave me that closure that I needed. And like, Alex Trebek did not know me. I didn't know him. But it was like, he was a very impactful person on my life, especially. I would watch Jeopardy with my grandpa, and we would just sit there and make silly faces at each other. And this man was an icon. So there's that. Then I listened to In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. I know everyone loves this book. I thought it was fine. Like I said, I don't read nonfiction, so it was fine. It was about this woman who was in an abusive partnership, and it did touch on a lot of domestic abuse between, like, domestic abuse is always talked about as, like, the husband beats the wife, and that's what you hear constantly. But there are other, in her memoir, it's part of the LGBT community. There's 2 women in a relationship, and one of them is very, very abusive. And so I definitely think this book has merit and this memoir has merit. I would never say that a book is not, like a nonfiction book is not good or whatever, because that's your story. That's very personal to you. So it was very hard to read or hard to listen to, but I did. Then I read Wild by Cheryl Strayed. I do want to watch the movie now, and kind of, I don't know if I'm going to do a video where I compare them, but I would like to watch the movie and see how well it went. I mean, who am I to judge? But this follows Cheryl Strayed, who hiked the Pacific Crest Trail from the Mojave Desert in California all the way up to the Bridge of Gods in Vancouver, Washington, or Portland, Oregon. Kind of like, I think it goes from Portland to Vancouver, I believe. I don't know. I've been on that bridge so many times. But it's about her solo hike and how it changed her life and what led her to do this hike and what she was hoping to gain and what she actually gained. And I thought it was really, really intriguing. So she solo hiked this in 1994, and there was a lot of talk. There's like a lot of people that were trying to help her, and they gave her food along the way, and they were so helpful. And I'm just thinking, okay, in 2024, would people still be helpful, or would they kind of just turn a blind eye like, oh, you're hungry? Sorry. Oh, you have a package to go pick up and it's only 5 miles away? Oh, you better get walking. Or would they actually pick you up and, like, you know, would they give you a place? The world is completely different than it was, and it was just really eye-opening. And then the last nonfiction book that I've read this year is one that I just finished yesterday, the day before. I don't know, I just finished it within the last couple days. And it's Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. Maddie. He went by Maddie. I did not know that, but Maddie wrote this really incredible memoir about his struggles. Like, he was a drug addict. He was an alcoholic. He smoked cigarettes for many, many years, and he's flawed. He was flawed. He made a lot of mistakes, and he was very upfront and very honest about a lot of things that maybe he wouldn't have been ready to come out and talk about if he wasn't getting better. And, like, addiction is something that you can struggle with your entire life. You could be clean for 20 years and then just find a syringe and, you know, that kills that sobriety for you. And he talks about all of his struggles, and it was really, really eye-opening to see. He did talk about filming a little bit, but I don't even really care about that. I care about the addiction, the cheating, he says that he's not a good person. He's like, I've tried to make amends. I had a list of 66 things, because when you go to AA, they want you to make amends with everyone. And the first step in that was him sitting down and making a list of people he needs to make amends with. And he had 66 people that he wanted to make amends with. I don't know if he actually did before he died, but I know that he was turning his life around and he was trying really hard. And I know that a lot of people are very, very, like, anti this book because he does open up about cheating on many of his girlfriends, and that for a long time he was definitely a player and he would just sleep with a woman and then be done and, you know, on to the next one. And he opens up and talks about that. But I think that it was really incredible that he was able to open up like that. And I also got the closure on the celebrity death. And I get that I've never met this man, but oh man, Friends was a huge part of my life. And Chandler Bing, Maddie, Matthew Perry, you know, he was an icon in that as well. So I've learned that I really, really like memoirs. Typically, like I said, I just listen to it once or read it once and then unhaul it if I own it, or just don't really think about it as much. But those ones have to stay for right now. I'm not ready. Then I put my goals in terms of letters. So letter B is read the first chapter of my entire physical TBR. I am not counting the new to me books from this year because I haven't read the first chapter of all of those. But there is a video, I'll link it up here, where you can go watch me read the first chapter of 100 books. At the time, that was the majority of my TBR. So I'm counting this as done. Even if there are now new books to me on my TBR that I haven't read the first chapter of, at the time of when I created this goal, that's what I was hoping for, was this video. Okay, then C is to read 10 Kindle books, because I'm really notorious for getting a free Kindle book and letting it sit in my library for years. So I thought 10 would be a challenge for me. I am proud to say that I have read 16 Kindle books. Yeah, 16. That's crazy. I've almost beat this challenge twice. I really thought this one would be super hard for me. Oh, I lied. I've read 17. I just didn't update it on here. But let me go through them real quick. The Switch House by Tim Meyer. Hit or Miss by Everly Ashton. Mayhem Carnival by Scarlett Swan. Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. Truth Bombs for F-Boys. I read that one twice, though. I only counted it once, but I read it twice. The Turtle Boy by Keelan Patrick Burke. Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke. Squeak by Vera Valentine. The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Awaki. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that. Night Watching by Tracy Sierra. Attack of the 50-Foot Indian by Stephen Graham Jones. The Deal Breaker by Kat Carmine. Protecting Piper by Cynthia Eden. Lovers at the Museum by Isabel Alden. Things Liars Say by Sarah Nay. Love Me Like You Mean It, and I didn't put the author. And Hooked by Emily McIntyre. So that's 17. I'm so close to getting a second star or stamp or thumbs up from myself. Okay. The next challenge was to read 10 classics. How do you think I'm doing on that one? like, some of these results were super surprising for me because I don't read classics. I also did not realize that I had read so many of my Kindle books, which I'm not complaining about. That's awesome. Okay, I wanted to read 10 classics. I am up to 13 classics. Woo-hoo. So, I will just pull up these ones that I've read. And, like I said, I'm not going to talk about them. I'm just going to show you. So, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Phantom Toll Booth, which by Norton Juster. I'm going to start reading this to my class every single year because it's incredible. Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, another incredible classic. So far, I've loved all three of the classics that I've read. Then I read Northanger Abbey. I actually have this big collection that you'll see later of all of Jane Austen's work, and this one is so far my favorite. I've only read 3, so I have 3 more to go, but this one's my favorite so far. The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare. The Call of the Wild by Jack London. Emma by Jane Austen. Winnie the Pooh by A. Milne. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I do own a copy, but I can't find it right now. So, Carmilla by J. Sheridan LaFona. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. And Persuasion by Jane Austen. So, I'm so shocked by reading 13 classics. That's a lot for me. And, I want to toot my own horn, but, or give myself a pat on the back, but I kind of deserve it for that one. Our next one is actually a filming one. It's to film 24 reading vlogs in 2024. I want you to take a moment and put your guess in the comments below at how many vlogs you think I've done on my channel this year so far. If you've been around for a little bit, then maybe you'll notice that my vlog game has gone up since last year. But if you're new, then I'm so happy that you're here, and you should go check out some of the vlogs from this year. But as of June 19th, I have 22 reading vlogs up. What? And I'm filming a 23rd reading vlog. So I've almost hit this goal out of the park, and I'm extremely proud of myself. Okay. Now we're going to go to the sadness. That is the letter F goal, which is to read 10 literary fiction books in 2024. So, to be honest with you, my goal was to read all of my literary fiction books, but I didn't want to set myself up for failure. So I toned it down. I have like 20 on my shelf. I toned it down, and I'm like, you know what? If I read 10, I'll be happy. I have yet to pick up a literary fiction book in 2024. So that is still a big fat 0. The letter G goal was to read 24 5-star predictions. But here's the thing. I need to get better at my 5-star prediction game because I went back and looked at my video, and there are 24 books on there, but many of them have been unhauled. A couple of them I've DNF'd, and they're just not what I'm looking for. So instead, I am pivoting that goal And I'm changing it to read the 24 books on your 2024 must-read books. I am going to spoil some of the list for you because I have read 12 of the books on that list, which is pretty good for me. So I need to read 12 more, and I have gathered the 12 that I still have to read. But if you want to see all the books, then I'll also link my 24 books to read in 2024 somewhere up here. And yeah, let's just go into it. So there's The Surgeon by Leslie Wolfe. I will say that I don't think I like medical thrillers, and this one reminds me too much of medical thrillers, so I don't think I'm gonna like this book anymore. Then there's Where the Truth Lies by Anna Bailey. This follows a missing girl, but I'm scared that it's gonna read too young adult. I don't read young adult books anymore, and I'm scared that this one's gonna read like a young adult. Then there's The Rewind by Alison Wynne Scotch. I just need to read it. It's like a second chance romance, which I have found out I don't really like, and I think that's why I keep dragging my feet on this one. Then there's The List. 5 names. The first 2 are dead. The third is your name. By Karis Jones. I have no excuse for not reading this one because it sounds intriguing. Then I have The Rooting by Anna Collmore. I keep saying that I want to read more nanny thrillers, and then I don't read any of them, and this is one that's actually on my list. Then there's The Eden Test by Adam Sternberg. This one I had already unhauled. It was on my Pingo store, but I just took it down today because I forgot that it was in my 24 books to read in 2024. But it's like this marriage experiment to try and save this married couple's marriage. So Daisy and Craig's marriage is in serious trouble, so they sign up for the Eden Test, which is 77 questions forever changed. Then this one I was super excited for back in January, so I don't know why I haven't read it, but Marlowe is Everywhere by Sarah Elaine Smith. I still want to read it, but again, I haven't read any literary fiction, and this is a literary fiction book. So, I don't know. Then I have this beautiful bound edition of Jane Austen with the gold. I wanted to read all of these this year. I have not read Sense and Sensibility. I have not read Pride and Prejudice. And I have not read Mansfield's Park. But I have read Emma, Northanger Abbey, and Persuasion. So I still have 3 books in this big chunky thing to read. But I feel like I'm doing pretty well on that because it's not quite July. So July, August, September, October, November, December. I can finish 3 books. That's like 1 book every 2 months from Jane Austen. Okay, and then the last one that I had is my other most beautiful book on my shelf. This one looks like killer. Because it's Stephen King, so it's like a horror collection. I've already read Carrie, but I have not read The Shining or Salem's Lot yet. I'm scared to read The Shining because I don't like the movie, but Stephen King doesn't like the movie either, and he said that they kind of missed the point of Stephen King, of The Shining, when they made it into a movie. And as someone who read Carrie and then watched Carrie as well, I can tell you that they definitely missed the point of Carrie. So I'm thinking that the book has to be better than the movie, but I'm very scared, and that's why I'm dragging my feet on this one. But those are the ones that are left. Then, letter H is to read 70% of the books I haul this year. And I'm actually doing a vlog right now where I'm reading some of the books that I've hauled this year. But as of right now, I've bought 107 books in 2024. Here's the thing though, I thrift a lot of my books, and I have this amazing used bookstore where I get like 80% of my books, and then I go thrifting and garage selling, and I get the other 20% there. Maybe it's more like 60% at the used bookstore, but it's cheaper than new book prices, and 40% at like thrift stores and garage sales. Not that like it really matters, but I did buy 107 books this year. That's not entirely true. Some of them were gifted to me or sent to me, so I've obtained 107 books this year. That sounds so bad. Any guesses in the comments below on how many books I've actually read of the 107? Remember, my goal is 70%. I've read 52 of the 107 books, which comes out to 49%. So I'm not quite there. But like I said, I am doing this project where I'm reading the books that I'm hauling in different vlogs. I think this will be the second rendition of this vlog this year. So I'm going to try and bust that number up to, I want to say 70%, but realistically, I'm going to say 60%. Realistically, optimistically, I want to say I'm going to get it up to that 70%. And then our last goal letter I, is to read 24 physical books with no audiobook. Like, where I'm just sitting there reading it. I was very shocked at this number. I was surprised. My goal is to read 24 in 2024, because I'm clever like that. I've read 26. I got that goal. Ooh. So I'm gonna make a new bingo board, or I'm just gonna put like a star and then we're gonna reset the number, or something. But I'm pretty proud of most of my goals here. But I'm gonna tell you the 26 books that I've read physically. These don't count the Kindle books, because usually I read Kindle books physically, but that's just physical books that I own. Okay. The Kind Worth Saving by Peter Swanson. The Grip of It by Jamek. Yeah, I might not tell you who they're by. A Spot for Trouble by Terry Wilson. The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Lavelle. Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls, my favorite book of all time. Privacy, Charlotte's Web. I read that one physically in a reading vlog. The Rom-Com Agenda. The Hookup Dilemma This spells love. Love. This spells love. If I Die Tonight by Allison Galen. Lights Go Out by Mary Rebecca. The Last Post by Renee Carlino. Not My Baby by Anya Mora. Such a Good Wife. The Spite House. Then 18 and 19 are Lock and Key, Volume 1 and 2. The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one. The Princess Saves Herself in this one. There are poetry collections by Amanda Lovelace, and there are also rereads. Then number 24, 22, 23, and 24 are Archie Volume 1, Archie Volume 2, Archie Volume 3. Then Foul is Fair and For Better or Worse by Erin LaRosa. So that is all of the reading goals that I wanted to go over with you. I don't feel like I'm doing too badly. I am kind of bummed that I haven't picked up a literary fiction book yet. But here's the thing. I think what it is that I get really nervous that I'm not going to like them, or that the content's going to be really heavy, because a lot of the time literary fiction is very heavy content and it's very focused on the character. It's not a plot driven story. I'm more of a plot driven reader. However, I dabble in literary fiction, and some of the most beautiful books I've read are literary fiction books, but it takes a lot more energy for me to read them because there's sometimes no plot. It's just character study. It's just all about the characters. But I am sad that I haven't even picked up one. I would, if I'm gonna make a realistic goal for that one, I would like to read 4 literary fictions by the end of the year. I feel like that's doable. Will I do it though? I guess subscribe to find out. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. I will catch you in the next video. Bye.